Hi, Maura. First off, it is great to meet you. I'm
Nice
really
to meet you,
excited
Beth.
to.
Where are
I'm
you located?
I'm in Georgia,
What part of Georgia?
Americus.
Okay, good. All right.
Really excited to chat with you about the documentary and Steve's story. And it was a pleasure to get to know more about him. I've been a huge fan for quite a few years now, so
Oh, good.
I'm
You know, he
excited.
has a nice gallery in Atlanta that represents him, the Jackson Fine Art. It's a great gallery. I mean, they are wonderful. If you get a chance next time you're in Atlanta, go in and say hi.
I definitely will, definitely
Good.
will. Um, so what inspired you to create this documentary?
Well, first of all, Steve's my husband. So I wanted to I'll tell you exactly what inspired me. I got to get the date, probably about 2015, a French television company interviewed Steve and did this about an hour documentary about him. And we were both really thrilled. And wow, isn't this cool that they want to do a documentary about you? And it was cute. I had Steve tap dancing in it. I had him walking at sunrise. I had him walking with our dog, along the lake, it was cute. And we went to Paris for the opening of it. It was going to be on TV, but they were going to do like a kind of a little opening of it first. And I was just like so proud of him, so happy. And a couple of our friends from Los Angeles came to it. And when it was over, I ran up to the gallery owner in Paris and said, "Wasn't that great?" And he goes, you know, I was disappointed they used so much archival footage about things Steve was taking pictures of, and that they didn't show his photographs long enough and well enough. And
Mm,
I thought, he's right. He's really right. Um, So it always was in the back of my head thinking, maybe we should do something else. Um, and in all honesty, when we found out that Steve was sick, I contacted a couple of people, kind of celebrity kind of people, to see if they would want to do a documentary about Steve. People that I knew collected his work and were fans of his
mhm.
and had made films. And nobody really responded. I mean, they didn't ignore me, but no one seemed to jump on it. Um, Except Gary Oldman did. Gary Oldman came to see Steve. He was going to do a documentary, and fate ruled that the cinematographer that he was bringing with him got stranded in Atlanta, never came back
Mm.
to Chicago where we were. And also, Gary saw that Steve was pretty weak. And he kind of thought, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't do this. Um, so the ugly wife did it. you know, I just
Oh,
hired a film crew for 2 days and got Steve telling his stories. And you know what? That's a better way to do it because I would have stayed emotionally involved with it. It's about Steve. That's what I wanted it to be about, not your opinion of Steve or, um, I don't know, Scorsese's opinion of Steve. I just want it to be about Steve. And it is, right?
it is, yeah. Um, what was it like for you to not involve yourself fully into this and let Steve tell his own story?
You know, um, just just so you know, I'm not so smart. Uh, I had gone. Steve had quite a few books that he has done. His first book was American Edge, and they did Heroes. He's done a lot of books. He did that wonderful book he talked about, The Fire Next Time. So whenever he'd do a book signing, he'd usually give a talk before the book signing. And he really enjoyed giving his talks. I mean, he really liked that. He was never nervous. He was on different TV shows, never nervous. Um, he liked that attention. So I kind of knew the stories that he had been telling, So in fact, one time I was in LA and we were at this kind of a big book signing and uh crowded, and then he gave a talk, And somebody came up to me after the book signing, after the talk, and said, "You know what impressed me most?" This guy came up to me and goes, "You know what impressed me most?" I go, "Oh," acting like kind of corny, sweet. I go, "Oh, no, what?" And he goes, "That you listened to it. How many times have you heard it?" And I thought, no, he's right. What if I'd been sitting in the back just kind of scrolling, on my phone? Embarrassing. Yeah. Yeah. I like Steve's stories. I really did. And I thought they were kind of interesting, Yeah. They're historical. Yeah.
And definitely, from someone who's never heard them before, they very interesting for
Thank
sure.
you.
Did he surprise you with any stories or like bits of story that you hadn't heard?
I'd like to say yes, but probably not,
Fair, fair.
no, I don't think so. Yeah. Yeah, I like Steve's stories, but I knew most of them. If you ask my son, maybe because actually after Steve got diagnosed, while he was in the hospital, he asked Theophilus if the two of them could just record some stories. So I never have heard those stories.
Oh,
So
wow.
maybe there are some secret stories that the wife doesn't know about.
Um, I loved the title of the documentary, Steve Shapiro, being everywhere. I thought it was very fitting because it is very true. What went into the decision to title the project that?
It was easy. Steve's favorite movie was a Peter Sellers film called Being There. So
Uh,
it was really easy to jump from being there to being everywhere. Didn't, yeah. So that was an easy one. I had thought about a fly in the wall, something like that, but no, go with his favorite movie, but just adapt it to him.
no, I love that.
Thank you.
Um, this may be a very tough question, but do you have a favorite photo of his?
I it changes all the time. Well, it was he was still around. We found a picture of James Baldwin and Lena Horne talking to each other, and it I just love this picture. James Baldwin is full out laughter. He's just like just folded over in laughter, as is Lena Horne. And you can tell they're at a cocktail party and it was fancy. And you can see a couple people in the background, just a little glance at them, kind of like, what are they laughing at? I just love it. And I made a 16 by 20 and I have it framed right so I can see it every day, because it's fun. And then there's one other one that I really like that doesn't get much attention, and there's no reason it should. Steve was photographing a protest in St. Augustine, Florida, not too far from you. And it was African Americans were going to dress very, very, like Sunday best. And they were going to go into this restaurant, not a really fancy restaurant, just an ordinary restaurant that was only for white people. And they had decided that they were all going to go together into this restaurant. And, of course, they got arrested. They knew that would be happening. But there was this one picture, oh gosh, it's so sweet, of this kid who probably would be between 11 and 12, and he's in a police wagon. He's been arrested, and he is graciously extending his arm to an older woman who's also being arrested to help her get into the police wagon. And I mean, just think this 11-year-old or 12-year-old, he hadn't been in a lot of protests. He obviously had been yelled at and screamed at by police, get in the van, get in the wagon. No one was being gentle. And that he could rise above that, you know, anxiety, rise above that aggression, and just delicately escort this lady to go off to jail. It's such a tender picture. You don't really see the woman, but you just see how kind that young guy is. Wish I knew where he was.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's very hard to choose a favorite.
What's yours? What's yours? Give me a
Oh
couple.
my goodness.
Yeah, even better.
There's the addiction series, the one where the cigarette and the glass are in focus and everything's blurry. There's the man looking at the film, uh, the negatives. But my absolute favorite is probably Mel Brooks with the Frankenstein mask. It's just
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could probably list like 20 more.
You know the one you said about the addiction? That was probably the first picture I saw of Steve. You know, we've been going out maybe about a week.
Oh,
And that was the picture I thought, my gosh, that is such a beautiful photograph. That was one of the ones that, I mean, he had done everybody, but that one, I felt the same way about that one too, that it's just such a classy looking picture. Yeah, cool, good, okay. And the film, you know, the guy who's looking at it, it's a cool picture. He's a British, he's an Irish playwright. His name's Samuel Beckett, and he's looking at it. And so it's kind of cool that he's known as a playwright and he's looking at the film. Yeah.
yeah, just they're all iconic. So,
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
um, what do you hope that audiences take away from Steve's work and hearing his stories?
You know, kind of, I guess, what he says at the end, you know, that I hope all of you will go out there. I do mean it. I felt the same way as Steve, you know, just go out there and do something to make the world better, you know. And if your mode of doing things is taking photos, you know, I like making movies. If you're an artist, just do something to make the world better. And if you're a financial guy, you know, you're a banker, you know, do something with banking to make the world better, you know. I'm pretty sure that that would be what I want someone to take out of it.
I love it. I love it. Um, I'm also a journalism professor,
Oh,
so
good. Where? In Georgia?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I actually used some of Steve's work as examples in class.
Oh, nice.
So also just like another layer onto how excited I am to talk to you about this.
Oh, cool. What do you use? What do you use? Give me something to use. Because he started out as a journalism major and then he switched to literature. So he always would build his stories based on the journalism model, you know, establishing a character. Yeah. So tell me,
Yeah.
a couple of pictures you use for your stories.
Uh, all of the Martin Luther King
Yeah.
Jr. and the protests and definitely his portraits
Mm.
because we were looking at like the environmental shots from the detailed shots. So
Nice. Good
very
deal.
handy. Um, but what is maybe a piece of advice that you or maybe Steve would have given to future photojournalists?
You know, I think it would be kind of like how he got started, that he went off on his own and did a story that was emotional, you know, and I think that's what every photojournalist should do. Find something that is a subject that means something to you or that touches your heart and go hang out there for 2 weeks, 2 months, really get to know that community and really get stories that feel really legitimate to that community. I think that's the best way to go. I think if you tell good stories that mean something to you, it usually works out. Don't try and ride the wave of what's like, oh, everyone's liking that. Find
Hmm,
the thing that you like.
that's solid advice. I like it. Thank you. And then my final question is just, is there anything else that you would like to add about Steve's work, his story, your relationship, anything?
Uh, well, two things. I met Steve on a blind date. The next day, he called me at work. I was a film editor in Los Angeles. He called me at work and I met him. And he said, I just before I sat down, it was just like a nothing little restaurant near where I worked. And he goes, oh, I just want you to know we're going to get married. Like,
Oh,
wow, that I didn't see that. I wasn't flattered and I wasn't shocked. I was just like, oh, wow, what does this guy know that I don't see yet? You know? I was like, oh, okay, interesting. Um, And then I'm not going to tell you the other one because it'll give away the ending of my story. So I'm not going to tell it to you, but see it and then contact me. See the film, then contact me and guess what you think I would have wanted to say. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
I will. Um, but thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. Again, I love his work. I'm very
Thank you.
excited. And it was a pleasure to meet you and get to know
Thank you.
more about you.
Thank you very much. A pleasure to meet you too, Beth. I'll see you next time we go to Jackson Fine Art. I'll find you. Maybe you'll come to one of the shows.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I will be there.
Okay, good deal. All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye.